In the previous tutorials, we have completed the basic concepts of 3D, and we also created some 3D objects. So we are now ready for creating the advanced concepts. Now we will see what is Revolve. So before going to new advanced concept, we will just cover some basic concepts about polyline. Because we will be needing the polyline for Revolve, Swip and Loop concept. So, Polyline is a continuous single line. The method to draw the polyline is same as normal lines. You can draw it as normal lines only, but the object created by polyline are single one object, whereas if we create some object with line, it is in separate elements, so each line is a separate element. So that is the difference between polyline and simple line. I can convert polyline into simple line using explode command. Explode, select object, enter. Each line will be separated into individual lines. That means it will be converted into a simple line. To convert simple line into polyline, you have to use pedit command. P is the shortcut. Select polyline, select any one line. Is asking you, do you want to turn it into one? So by default Y is selected. Just press enter. Then select join option and select all the lines, those you want to join. Enter and enter. Simple line will be converted to polyline. In this way you can convert simple line to polyline, or you can also create directly polyline using pline command or polyline command. This is the concept for polyline. We will see what is Revolve now. Before going to Revolve, we will shift to southeast isometric. Then we will use USS icon command to shift it on the left side. So we will say no origin. We will shift to right plane so that we will able to draw it on the right plane. Suppose I create a circle, and this circle I want to revolve around this axis, vertical axis. Around this axis I want to revolve this circle. I will shift to conceptual visual style. I will say revolve. Then he's asking me select object to revolve. This circle I want to revolve. Enter. Then specify axis start point or defined axis by. So I want to revolve around this axis. So I will take its start point and end point. Then he's asking me angle of revolution. Suppose angle of revolution is 180 degree. Enter. So that circle has revolved around this line in 180 degree. Same way I can revolve it in 360 degree also. Revolve, select object to revolve, enter or right click, then specify first axis point, second axis point, angle to revolve 360 degree. So in this way, circle has been revolved and this object has been created. Same way you can revolve any profile. We will just create one profile. That profile should be using polyline, or you have to convert it into polyline using pedit command if you create it by simple line. So I am creating this profile. Enter. So this profile should be joined at the corner. Then I want to revolve it around this axis. So I am creating this axis. So this will be act as a radius for the revolved object. So again revolved. Select object to revolve. Enter. Axis first point, axis second point. Angle of revolution, suppose 270 degree. So in this way it has revolved in 270 degree. Same way, suppose if I use this as a axis, revolve, select profile, enter first point, second point, angle of revolution 360 degree. So around that it has revolved. In this way you can use a revolve command. Next is helix. To create helix, suppose we will shift back to top plane, helix, then specify center point of base, then base radius, top radius and height. In this way this helix is created. You can fine tune it by double clicking on it. So you will have the properties here. You can change height for the helix. Suppose I want 25. Number of turns you can change. I want 6. Turn height you can give it, or base radius, suppose 10, top radius 10. You can also control the direction, twist clockwise or counterclockwise. To come out, just press escape and close these properties if not required. In this way you can create a helix. So it is a helix 2D 3D helix. If you want to convert this, this is a wireframe type helix. If you want to convert it into a 3D, you can use Swip command. For Swip you will have to define the section. So I want a circular spring, suppose circular cross section spring. So I will draw a circle. I will say sweep. Then select object to sweep. I want to sweep this circle. Then right click or enter. Select sweep path. So I want to sweep on this path. So on this path it has rotated that circle and it has created a solid spring. So in this way you can create a spring using helix and sweep. Sweep can be used for a creation of any object that needs a path and cross section. Suppose some piping is there, so you have to draw the path using polyline only. Suppose I create some path using polyline. Suppose this is my pipe routing. So my pipe is flowing like this. Right click, enter. Then I have some radiuses, so I will use fillet. Right click, I will say radius. Suppose this much radius I want, 15. Then right click, I want to radius polyline, so I will say polyline and select the polyline. So all corners will be filleted. So here fillet radius cannot be given because gap was lesser distance is available, therefore it was not filleted. So you have to increase the gap. So I want to create a rectangular duct like this, so I will create a rectangle of desired dimension. Then I will say sweep, then select object to sweep, then select, then right click, then select sweep path. So it has flowed that rectangular section on this and it has created a sweep. So in this way you can sweep any section on some path. So path should be created using polyline, and you can make it hollow by using shell command. So you have to say shell, then select 3D object, then remove faces. So while you want to make it hollow, you have to say which faces you want to remove. So I want to remove this face and I want to remove this face. Then enter, then give the shell offset distance. How much thickness you want for the hollow shape. So I want 0.5 and press escape to come out. So in this way it has created the hollow shape. In this way you can use the sweep command, shell command to make the 3D object hollow. So in this way you can use the sweep command. So next concept is loft. So loft is basically used to connect different cross sections. Suppose I will create some cross sections. Suppose I have this rectangle. I will see in top view, so it will be easy for me to create the cross sections using this top view. So I will create one more cross section here, and I will create suppose one more here. So I have these three cross sections. I will switch back to southeast isometric, and I will shift them to at different height using move command. You can also use the 3D move also, or 2D move can also be used. So select object, enter base point, give direction, and give the height. At how much height that section should be. Select the next section, base point, and give the height. So now we have these three sections at desired heights. We want to connect all these three and create a 3D object. We will give loft, then select cross section in lofting order. This should be connected to this and this should be connected to this. Then press enter, and I want to connect cross section only, so I will say cross section only. So it has created this 3D object. I can define whether I want to connect it directly. So for that I have to say ruled. And if I want to connect it smoothly, I can say it smooth fit and say OK to complete the operation. So in this way, you can connect available cross sections using loft command. So there are two more options are there to loft command. One is path and guide. So we will see that also, those options also. So to create a path, I will just switch to right plane, right UCS, so that I can create a path here. So path should be created using polyline only. So this path is created. You can also give the dimensions. Then I have to fillet it. So I will say fillet, fillet, first line, second line. Radius was already set. So I will change that radius. It is looks to be small. Radius. So I will take it larger. So it can be smoothly converted. Okay, so this path and two cross sections at two ends. So for the creation of this end, I will switch back to top UCS so that I can create here some cross section. I want some rectangular shape here. I will move this rectangle by tracking the center point of the rectangle at the end of this line. Same way I want some cross section on this corner, so this should be on front. So I shift it to front, then I will create one more rectangle, suppose here smaller one. Then again I will say move. I will track the midpoint, center point of rectangle, and so these two cross sections should be connected on this path. So I will say loft, select cross section in lofting order, then right click, then select path option. So I want to join it on this path. So in this way it has joined it in on the that path. So you can make this hollow using again shell command. If you want to make it hollow, just say shell, select 3D object, remove faces. I want to remove this face and front face. So I want to remove this face. Then press enter, then give the shell thickness. Suppose I want 0.5 as the shell thickness. So it has created the shell object. So it has made it hollow because of shell. So in this way, you can give it the color, desired color, using this color option. So in this way, you can create a transition piece using loft. Same way, you can also connect two cross sections on guides. Suppose some guides are there. So I will switch back to right plane. I will create some guides using spline. So I want something like this. Enter, enter, enter. Then again spline. I will below create some guide below. Enter, enter, enter. So I want to connect on these two guide. I will say loft. Then select the cross section. Right click. Say guides option and select the both the guides. And right click. So it has created this object in 3D. lofted object. So in this way you can use the advanced object in AutoCAD 3D. So thanks for joining.